Hi, Girl Scouts. I'm Amy Dosick, CEO of Girl Scouts of Greater Atlanta, and I'm joined today by members of our Older Girl Advisory Board. We're going to have some discussion today about what the past year in the pandemic has been like for some of our older Girl Scouts. And so I'm going to start by having them introduce themselves and tell you their name, where they go to school, and what level they are in Girl Scouts. And so, Aditi, I'll throw it over to you.
Hi, my name is Aditi Mohan, and I'm an ambassador in Girl Scouts. I go to Chattahoochee High School, and I'm so happy to be joining everyone here today.
Hi, my name is Janiyah Williams. I am an ambassador in Girl Scouts. I'm also very happy to be here.
Hi, my name is Samyukta Iyer. I'm also an ambassador in Girl Scouts. I go to Wheeler High School, and I'm so happy to be here with everyone else.
So I asked our Older Girl Advisory Board to be here today because I thought it was important for all of our adults at the annual meeting to hear directly the voices of our girls. And so I'm going to start with Janiyah and ask you, tell me a little bit about what the past year in the pandemic has been like for you.
The past year has been very interesting. We've all gone through a lot of different changes, and I think that it's been ups and downs. School, we haven't really been in person. I haven't seen my friends in a while. But on the bright side, I've gotten into more hobbies. I've done yoga, painting, cooking. So I've kind of reached back in touch with myself.
Samyukta, what about you?
I think for me, the past year has really been a lot about productivity and opportunity. I think, starting out, it was a lot about it just seemed like a lot of negativity with everything being canceled or postponed. But I think what I realized was that I was able to turn this kind of virtual environment into an opportunity because we were no longer limited by what your school hands to you or what was local or what was easy to access with transportation. Like all of a sudden, there was this whole new world of opportunities to access because you were no longer limited by where you're from or where you can travel to.
What do you think, Aditi?
I think for me, this year has really been about changes. When the pandemic hit, it kind of turned my world upside down a little bit. It seemed like the end of the world to me. But I think going through the months, there have been some tough times, but I've really been able to kind of find what's really important to me and what really matters. I feel like I was just worrying about so many unnecessary things throughout the years, and this time has really given me a chance to really think about myself and really just pursue what means a lot to me.
So Aditi, let's stay with you and tell me, how has being a Girl Scout helped you during the pandemic?
I think the most valuable thing Girl Scouts has offered me is community. There's basically a sisterhood here, and everyone is so positive and ready to help you out. We all support each other. We're all happy for each other. We encourage each other, and that's something which means so much to me. Really, when I was panicking, but when I was a little bit unsure about how the future was gonna go, I really tapped into Girl Scouts and took advantage of what the older Girl Scout programs had to offer.
Janiyah, how has being a Girl Scout helped you this past year?
It's helped a lot because I'm not a part of a troop. I'm a Juliet, so in a way I was already on my own, but taking advantage of all the different events in Girl Scouts, it's really been very beneficial. I've met so many new people, and I've opened up to all these new programs. Girl Scouts, of course, is more than selling cookies, and I think that's the surface level that everybody sees. And once that's over, cookie season is over, it's you can still be a productive Girl Scout. I've joined Camp CEO. I just applied. I got in. Yay! We're a part of Older Girls Advisory Board. I've been able to talk to you, the CEO. I think all of these new opportunities have opened up, and I think I just really want to thank just all Girl Scouts because you guys are such a community and so nice and helpful and wonderful, and all the council members and Miss Daniels, Miss Candace, everybody's just amazing and so welcoming.
Awesome. Samyukta, what about you?
I think kind of adding to what both Janiyah and Aditi said, Girl Scouts really built a foundation for me in terms of not only community but also leadership. And so when the pandemic hit, I was in the thick of my final report revising process for the Gold Award. And so that kind of mindset of, yes, the world is full of problems, and yes, things are really hard right now, but what can I do to help? What can I research and understand better? And then use the resources that I have to make a difference. And so through, the skills that I learned in Girl Scouts with how to reach out to organizations, how to build relationships, how to find volunteers, how to manage people, and how to make everyone feel engaged and connected despite being so far apart was something that I don't think I would be able to tackle without having this foundation that I have.
Wow, I am so inspired listening to all of you. So we're here tonight to talk to our leaders and our other volunteers at the annual meeting, which brings 100 or more of our adult Girl Scouts and some older girls together. And so I want to ask each of you, what do you want our adult leaders to know about your Girl Scout experience that maybe they don't know or appreciate as older girls?
I think the work that our volunteers and our leaders do is really integral to what makes programs possible at Girl Scouts. Like, we all know that, and I'm sure you all as volunteers also know that. And so with that in mind, I think just something that I'd like to encourage you all to think about and remember as you're doing the important work that you're doing is that especially I think as older girls, a problem that I've seen happen as we get older is that a lot of times interests start to diversify, especially in middle school, I think. And so it's important to make sure that as leaders, you're really try to build a one-on-one relationship with every single girl. Having a mentor there in Girl Scouts to tell you, you belong here, you matter here, your interests matter, we have a place for you in this environment is invaluable, especially as girls are getting older. And so I think the role you guys play is extremely important. Just make sure that, I'm sure you all feel that, but make sure you say that to your girls and make sure you try to build that relationship with them and build that kind of mentorship because that's invaluable for older girls.
Awesome. Janiyah, what do you think you'd like our leaders to know?
First, I want to say thank you because you guys are amazing. I think overall, just know that we are our individual people. We're our individual person. Girl Scouts, of course, we're a community. We have the same shared values. But when it comes to the actual girls themselves, I think it's important not to try to cluster or group us into one mindset. We all make up our own person, and I think that the volunteers, they just need to know that we are individuals, but we do have the same goals, the same shared mindsets. But I think just putting that sense of personality on each and every girl, that will help the relationship as a whole and help everybody really feel as one in the end.
Aditi, what would you like our leaders to know?
Well, like Samyukta and Janiyah were saying, first that we appreciate you so much, and I think that something that volunteers should know is, especially as girls are getting older, they kind of want to be treated as more mature. So I think, again, that crucial point is middle school. When you're heading out of elementary school, you don't want to be in something childish, and sometimes Girl Scouts tends to fall into that category, especially when we're little. We're like, okay, need to shed off my old skin, step into the new limelight, middle school. And I've seen it happen. Troops get cut down from maybe 20 members to 6 members. And I think the most important way to combat that is really to bring in real world issues, bring in real world topics, start to treat the girls as they're getting older, and kind of bring in mature topics. Obviously not too mature or anything like that, but if you start to treat them like they matter and obviously they are maturing as Girl Scouts, I think that people will start to feel like this is an older girl thing. I can be part of this.
Awesome. Great advice for our leaders. And so not everybody knows that Girl Scouts include older girls, like high school age Girl Scouts that go on to become seniors and ambassadors and earn the Gold Award. So when you talk to other people, what do you tell them about what it means to be a Girl Scout to you? So Janiyah, why don't you start us off?
Okay. The first thing I always tell people, I do more than sell cookies. I know I've been talking about that all this entire conversation, but that is the truth. I think people, the only thing they know about Girl Scouts is cookies, 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 cookies. And they'll ask me, it's not even cookie season. It'll be like December. And I'm like, hello, it's not cookie season. I can't really help you right now. So I think that we do a lot. We do a lot. It's actually more than your Gold Award. Like I said, I joined Camp CEO. There's the Older Girl Advisory Board, Miss Media. It's so many other projects. And I think that towards middle school, you tend to break off from Girl Scouts, especially if you don't really have an idea of what's available for you. being in Girl Scouts in high school is definitely different from your earlier elementary days, because you've just grown so much, over the years you've matured a lot. But I think that it's still a good place to be, and I love Girl Scouts, so I'm definitely gonna do what I can in these last couple years and make the most of it.
Awesome. So Aditi, what do you want our audience to know about what being a Girl Scout means to you?
It's really about encouraging and supporting girls to take on like active roles in their community and to basically become the best person they can be.
Okay. So Mukta, what do you think?
I mean, completely agree with like everything that Janaya and Aditi said. Yeah, I think what is important is that, like sometimes, especially like at the beginning of high school, when there's like cookie season, I'll be like, oh, do you want cookies or whatever? They're like, wait, you're a Girl Scout? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, you don't seem like a Girl Scout. Like, what is that supposed to mean? It's this like common impression of what a Girl Scout is and what she does. And it's not wrong. Like, yeah, sure, we all like cookies. Everyone likes cookies. We all like horses. We all like camp. Sure, but there's so much more to that. And I think that what's critical to understand is that, like, when you're in the thick of it, like, three of us are, like, we get an idea of, how much there is to do. But for people on the outside, or, like, even younger girls, just know that Girl Scouts grows with you. It's not just, like, you're stuck in this same little bubble of activities for, 18 years of your life. There are opportunities. You have to make them, or find them, or make the most of them. And I think that's what Girl Scouts really is for me.
So one of the things we always say about Girl Scouts is that Girl Scouts tries to move at the speed of girls. But I'm not a girl. I'm an adult. And I have the privilege of serving as the CEO. And so while I have all of you here, I wanted to ask you for some advice. And so if you sat in my seat and were the CEO of Girl Scouts of Greater Atlanta, what programs would you create for girls? And so Aditi, let's start with you this time.
So if I were the CEO of Girl Scouts, or I was in charge of what programs, I would try to implement a sort of mentoring or like sister relationship between younger Girl Scouts and a little bit older Girl Scouts. So obviously not a very large gap, but maybe a few years older. I think especially if you're going into maybe like 6th grade and like a 9th grade girl, or maybe like 7th grade and 10th grade girl or something like that. I think that helping a younger girl go through whatever's going on in her life, go through Girl Scouts would be so beneficial.
So Mukta, what would you do if you were the Girl Scout CEO?
Yeah, I think if I were Girl Scout CEO, I would try to create more programs that were interdisciplinary. I think a lot of times, especially as you get older, right, it feels like you're very kind of like in this track. So if you like STEM, you're in the STEM track wherever, and you don't like interact with people outside of that track or in the arts or whatever it is. But I think Girl Scouts is in a really special place where we don't have limitations of you can only be a Girl Scout if you like certain things. And so because of that, we can take advantage of the diversity in interests of our, girl population and use that to create opportunities where they can come together. I think there's just so much there that we haven't really tapped into yet in terms of having an event where we're not just focusing on one interest, but rather intentionally bringing different interests together.
Janaya, what about you? What would you do if you were in my shoes?
If I was in your position with a big title and everything, I would love an online forum. It's not really a program, but I would love like an online community for Girl Scouts to be able to communicate with one another. Like I said, I am a Juliet, so I'm not a part of a troop. I don't have monthly meetings. The only time I interact with other Girl Scouts is through other Girl Scout programs and events like this. So I think that having an online forum, it would be pretty interesting. Girls can talk about not only like their experience earning a badge or earning their gold award, but they could just talk about school, how their life is going. And I think that having that kind of connection, across different age gaps, could be really beneficial.
Awesome. I have been so inspired this afternoon, and I hope you have as well, listening to some of our older girls. And so to wrap us up today, all of you have talked about the different activities you've been in Girl Scouts and the different things you've learned and the dreams and ambitions you have. And so I want to ask you, as we end up, how do you want to change the world? And so Mukta, let's start with you.
I think I want to change the world by using the subjects, the talents that I have, whether it's in STEM or in research or in the arts, using all these passions to not only, make discoveries myself and, find cures to diseases and make the next big technology to solve a global issue, but I want to do that as well as educate and bring this education forward and empower the next generation to look at issues not only as something that you can worry about after you have a college education, but really show every single person, regardless of their age or their gender or their background, whatever it is, that they can make a difference with whatever resources they have in the moment. And especially specifically applying STEM and the arts to that. And so empowering kids to use technology to solve global issues and get involved in the community and make a difference and think about things in a more critical sense, which is generally reserved for older people, but really tell them that no, you are the perfect age to make a difference. There's no perfect time or perfect age. Like, everyone can do something.
Janiyah, how about you?
I think to change the world, I think for everything you kind of have to start small. And I think that's what I honestly try to do every day. I mean, you don't change the world in a day, you know. It takes time, it takes progress. But I found that just being positive, like just having a positive outlook on life, even when things aren't going your way, even with the entire pandemic going on, I think remaining positive, having that positive mindset, I think it's really helped me to push that along to other people, and then it pushes it to other people. And I think it's honestly just a cycle of just positivity, and I think that's what the world really needs now and probably just forever.
Aditi, how do you want to change the world?
I think something that's really important to me is civic engagement and really just being involved in your community and doing the best you can for your little community, and that could just inspire you to take issues to bigger levels. I think that a lot of people really underestimate what their local government and what their just like local community, their neighborhood can do for them. And I would really encourage anyone out there who's struggling to find a place to really just look out and see if you can help in a charity or in a soup kitchen, or really just go out and volunteer or spend some time with other people, other types of people. And I think that by kind of understanding what other people are going through and really bringing that back to your own worldview, it will expand your perspective. And I think that's what the world kind of needs right now.
Wow. Wise words from our Older Girl Advisory Committee today. Aditi, Janiyah, Samukta, thank you so much for spending some time with me today and sharing your words of wisdom with our annual meeting audience today. Thank you, Girl Scouts, and good night.